Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zock Gaming Podcast, Episode 6. We apologize for not having an episode out last week. There was some scheduling errors, and everything's cool now. And we're hopefully going to have everything on a maybe live stream soon. We'll see. Joining me, as always, is Donovan of No Clip Gaming.
Hey there, everybody.
And Josh of Missouri.
Hello.
We have a pretty decent show planned out for everyone tonight. Let's start off the episode with what we start off every episode with, and that's the what have you been playing lately? Josh, what have you been playing lately?
Actually, finally started diving into Skyrm.
Really?
Ooh,
You never
go
played that
Lucky.
before, really?
Well, I played it right when it came out. I got it when it came out. Played it for a little bit, but I just wasn't really in the mood for a Bethesda RPG at the time. So I threw that onto my ever-growing backlog of games to get around to eventually. But,
I
finally
like
did get into
Skyrm.
it. I just started like 2 days ago, so I'm really not very far at all.
You
And
know,
I've already made like 2 different characters, and I'm trying to figure out just exactly what I want to do.
you know what? The one thing I think that was the best thing about Skyrim that they added to like the whole Skyrim/Fallout engine or whatever was the run button. Going back to Fallout without that run button after you get used to Skyrim is pretty annoying.
Oh, the sprint.
Oh, Christ, some more, dude. I had my hands on New Vegas like 2 days ago, and it was fine. Man, I can't sprint. Call of Duty.
It's
Well, you
just
can-
hard when you go from one to the other in like a couple days, but if you haven't played
Actually,
it in a while.
one of the earlier mods speaking of Fallout, one of the earlier mods I even installed was it replaces VATS with like a bullet time. Which is
Oh,
actually, yeah, it was really cool because VATS was I always thought was really boring. You hit VATS, game pauses, click on something, watch a cutscene. Where's the interaction? Whereas with the bullet time, it drains your AP slowly. With that, you're sitting there shooting, gives you reaction time. I thought it was a lot more made the combat a lot more interesting.
That sounds pretty neat. I always wanted to play the Fallout games on PC because of all the mods.
Oh yeah, the Bethesda games, in my opinion, have always they're not really games. They're engines. they're playgrounds for people
They're toys.
to mod.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
giant digital
You
toys.
don't really want to play the vanilla game. I mean, usually most people play through the vanilla game once and then just mod the shit out of it. Like back
See,
in
I've always
with
done the
Fallout.
360 version, so I couldn't.
Oh, no. I did the 360 version of Oblivion, and I had some fun with it. Ran into a game crashing bug that was not so fun. But then I did Fallout on the PC and modded the crap. My mod folder was like twice as large as my actual Fallout game.
Well, I remember
And
there was
so
that
many
audio
mods.
pack you got for it that was super cool that you showed me that like tripled the amount of music in the game.
Oh yeah, it adds a huge variety to the radio. There's animation touch-ups. There's high-res textures on everything to make that game look gorgeous. There's so many visual mods. There's tons and tons of gameplay mods, which is actually why I was kind of disappointed with New Vegas when it came out, because all the new stuff in New Vegas I had already been playing with for months, because they basically just took all of the popular mods for Fallout or for Fallout 3 and just slapped them on there. So it's like the needing to eat and more realistic gun damage and all sorts of things. And
It definitely
like,
felt more like an expansion than another game. I can agree with that for sure.
It did, yeah. Not to bash or anything. I mean, Bethesda
Yeah.
games.
I feel like people
make
hate
good
on it
playgrounds.
a little bit more than they really deserve to. Like, it's a good game. It's just
It's
Not
just not
really what
Fallout
people
3.
yeah, that's the problem.
You can't. I mean, Fallout 3 I think was easily top 5 of the generation.
It
That
was
seems like a pretty
really
fair
good.
statement.
I mean, everybody's just calling it Oblivion with guns, but it was Oblivion with guns that did so many things right. It wasn't huge major things, because all the major stuff really was just like any other Bethesda game, but it was the little details, the little improvements just across the board that added up to make it a really good game.
I personally really enjoyed the plot.
Yeah, I mean that's something I noticed. Savvy's been playing a lot of Skyrim and finishing up Fallout 3, and it's like honestly the story in the Fallout games, while it's not as huge and it doesn't take place over as wide of an area, it feels more coercive to me. Like I actually care.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. With Skyrim, honestly, I played it, but I beat the final dragon or whatever, and then I just kind of put it down and didn't really do any of the side quests or anything after that.
See, I did the exact opposite. I did all the side quests, and then I was like, go back in time and fight a dragon. God, that is so far on my to-do list. Like,
That's the funny thing actually with Oblivion. I think I did every major side quest arc before even touching the main quest. Like I literally started the game in Oblivion and just it tells me go this way, I ran that way. And I was like, screw whatever you tell me to do, I'm gonna go have fun. Did everything and then just plowed through the main quest like nothing, like it was nothing. With Skyrim, I'm kind of doing a little bit of the main quest and doing doing some side quests here and there, a little bit, a little this, a little that. I really like the spell system. That you can dual wield stuff. That's always cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
I like
cool
how you can dual wield the spell and double fist the spell. That's always, I mean, that's one of the things with Bethesda's spell casting engine, usually in the Elder Scrolls games, is it's pretty much point and click. You might do some shenanigans with like buffing up your skill, which lets you cast a higher level spell, which you can buff up even higher and basically get it so you can cast some 10,000 damage, 500-yard radius fireball that's basically like a tactical nuke. But other than that, you don't really do anything. You just click a button and he shoots a fireball. And this I like being able to kind of mix match spells or double fist them. It's kind of adds a little bit of dynamicness. It adds a really cool dynamic, and I like that the healing spell you can just hold down the button and it just converts magicka into health instead of
I like the way it functions too.
Oblivion was just heal for like 5 minutes. That was horrible. But I'm enjoying it so far. I've been messing around with the weapons. I don't really know if I want to go dual wielding, two-handed, punchy guy. I mean, magic. It finally seems like everything is actually viable. Whereas, like in previous Elder Scrolls games, basically you just go stealth and one-shot everybody.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Elder Scrolls games, yeah. As I in Fallout 3, the last character I ever made was a strictly melee guy. I called him Jackie Chan, and
that's the funnest way to play Fallout.
Literally ran around in a karate gi. Like, I cannot stress how horrifically stereotypical Jackie Chan was. Like, lawfully good, no speech, no barter, no nothing. But like, it was hilarious because my friends would be like, "Oh, you're playing Fallout?" I'm like, "Yeah, check this out." And this guy who's completely unarmed, no power fist, no anything, just runs up to an enclave and just, goes into vats and just punches his head off in one hit. And it's just like, oh my god, what is this thing? And it is so much harder to do that in Skyrim. Like, you can still do it. You're kind of limited to being a Khajiit if you really want to get serious about it, and there's one enchantment you have to steal from Riften to really make it work.
Yeah, I actually looked up a little bit, like, if you want to make it legit. It seems like the main thing to do is to get that heavy armor perk.
Yeah.
That adds your armor damage, or your gloves armor to your
damage,
thing, and then just beef up the crap out of your gloves and just basically have 2 bricks tied to your fists and slam everything.
Yeah, it's good. I'm just saying. Oh, no, go ahead, Jay.
For Skyrim, for me, the one thing that I thought was kind of iffy about it was that if you max out your blacksmithing and enchanting, you pretty much win.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that? I mean,
well,
why else would you be maxing those 2 things? You want the most magical, indestructible bullshit ever. Isn't that the point of doing it?
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was a little bit too easy to get the ultimate armor in the game, because you can do it pretty early on if you really set out to just harvest the ore and get it done.
I don't know, dude. It took me a while.
In previous Elder Scrolls games, the I-Win skill is alchemy, far and away. You basically get masterwork alchemy, and you get the master thing, and you crank out alchemy, which is really easy to do. You can just go raid farms, get about a bajillion materials, crank out a bajillion potions, get your skill up to 100 super fast.
It's really easy to level alchemy in Skyrim.
And then you can use a single ingredient to make a single potion, so you just have an unlimited stack of heal health, heal magic, heal fatigue, and then you enchant your gear with armor. And I think my character in Oblivion had 100% armor, so I took 99%. I reduced damage by 99% because there was a cap. I was basically immune to every single school of magic. I had 100% chameleon at all times, which is literally invisibility. And I had enormous health, magic, and stamina regen because I could just drink potions, and they lasted for like a minute and gave me like 20 health a second or more.
So your guy was just all cracked out on potions all the time.
I was God. Yeah. Which is
combat
also the same,
drugs.
Which is also pretty much the same in Morrowind, if I remember right. Alchemy was insanely strong. You could get poisons that would do like 400 damage a second.
Man, you're going back with Morrowind.
I actually really liked Morrowind.
Morrowind's I thought it was better than Oblivion. Morrowind's
Elder
Scrolls game.
I thought it was too.
It
the
was
first
such a
real
unique-
PC game that just stole my soul.
It was such a
forever.
unique world as far as fantasy goes. I mean, Oblivion was basically Lord of the Rings. It was your bog standard Tolkien-esque RPG. You got your orcs and your monsters and your demons. You run around in, not New Zealand. There's, your standard just. I mean, it had a nice green color palette. I'll give it to them, but it was it was completely bog standard fantasy. I mean, it is exactly what you think of when you think of fantasy. Morrowind was this bizarre alien world with floating tentacle monsters, and everything was just weird, but it was cool.
Yeah, and the DLC. Oh man, so much stuff for that game was just awesome. Everything about it.
I also like Morrowind let you fuck the game up.
Yeah, that's always fun too. Well, it's kind of funny.
If you kill an NPC that you have to beat the game, it tells you, well, it lets you kill him, and it tells you, well, you screwed up.
Hopefully you saved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one thing.
I respect a game that lets you do that.
Well, that's part of the reason I like a lot of Bethesda's games too, is they're so huge and there's so much to do that there's like an inherent amount of bugginess just in the games, like in the way the quests are set up and the way just the games entirely, mechanically speaking too. And I like how their attitude is they just sort of, incorporated it. It's all just part of the universe. The universe is just that ridiculous.
Honestly, the bugs are kind of funny a lot of the time. I
know they're great.
When I first got Fallout 3, I'm always going to remember this. It was hilarious. I killed like a giant rad scorpion. It's pretty early in the game, like my first playthrough, actually playing through vanilla, and its tail like got stuck in some part of the geometry when it died, and so it just started doing the usual, twitching system, and then it just kept getting more and more because it was like building up momentum to the point where it started going back and forth so much its model started warping. And it finally managed to stretch out just hugely, and it broke free of the environment, and the thing like launched to the goddamn moon. And I just sat there the whole time just watching this rad scorpion corpse. Just
Bethesda, I love you.
And I just fucking lost it.
That's
I
the
laughed
best
so
kind
hard.
of glitch.
Those are, yeah, it's like that's that glitch, that's okay with me.
So you been playing anything else lately, Josh?
Other than the usual, I've been hitting some fighting games a lot harder lately. I found some other friends that started playing. So
Practicing for Evo next year?
Oh god, no. Like I said, some of my friends started playing fighting games, so I've just been beating their asses mercilessly.
Oh, good.
I beat Rogue Legacy, like thoroughly did everything.
New Game Plus and everything?
Oh, I'm like New Game Plus 4. My castle's maxed out. I bought every rune and piece of armor.
Gorgeous.
Nice.
It was, and I actually did the whole thing without using grace runes. I went into like New Game Plus 5 or Plus 6 or something with all grace runes, and I'm like, holy crap, this feels like cheating. It's so easy.
So what have you been up to lately, Donovan?
Oh man, Steam Summer Sale. That's it. Bada bing. Steam Summer Sale. Period.
Oh, my wallet.
Yeah, dude, like I could not throw money at my computer fast enough. And I tried. I mean, I literally tried. I dented my screen. I threw my wallet so fast.
No, you got to open the CD-ROM drive and feed in dollar bill.
just slap it in, just see if that works. Take my money, Gabe, please.
Steam needs to make a console that has a credit card reader built in.
Oh my god.
If they do, I imagine they might have
new
that.
feature on the Xbox One, I'm telling you now. Like right there on the controller, just like slide it through. It's perfect.
That would be brilliant.
I'll send it to Microsoft, they'll give me no money. But yeah, I've just been playing a lot of the games that I really, a lot of the indie games I wanted to play lately actually hit the summer sale. So I've been getting to play them, like Kerbal Space Program. Oh man, that game is so silly. Have you seen that game, Jay?
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, so Steam does this deal called Early Access where they have games that are in alpha and beta, and it's more or less like Kickstarter. You can buy the games while they're in alpha and beta, and they'll give
basically
you...
what they do.
Is that part of their greenlight system?
Kind of. It's very similar, but I don't think the two are actually directly related. Sometimes they overlap, but I don't think one necessarily feeds directly into the other. But the point of Kerbal Space Program, right, is it's pretty much Sim NASA.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It is
ridiculous. Except the little people are like little green alien dudes, and you have to go to the Mun instead of the Moon, and there are like other planets in the solar system and shit. But
how far does it let you go? Can you like get Star Trek status on that?
I'm not that far. I've made it to the Mun. have not landed.
Yeah,
I know my
actually,
roommate upstairs has made it to Mars or whatever they call it.
the funny thing about the game is you will play it for quite a while and not get off of the launch pad. So
Yeah.
saying how far can you go is kind of a moot question.
I have killed a horrific amount of astronauts.
Most of your things will probably just explode while you're wheeling them out.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I mean it lets you design whatever spacecraft you want. I mean it gives you all the parts and you arrange them and you can add thrusters and whatnot. You know, it really takes into account weight and shape and aerodynamics and
Like the physics are really solid, really good.
Which means that most people, because most people don't know how to build a spacecraft, will just basically make a bomb and then detonate it.
The hugest bomb you have ever seen.
And basically just detonate it on a launch pad and call that a space program.
Dude, this is space program. We launch. Like,
Oh, the graphics are pretty neat looking. I'm checking it out right now. It's really cool.
The little Kerbals, are they called Kerbals?
I believe so.
The little green.
Don't quote me.
They're basically like the little minions from Despicable Me, colored green.
Yep. They're
Pretty
ridiculous. I feel so bad sometimes. Like, I thought I had equipped an ejector rig into this one spaceship, and it overheated and the motor blew up, and I'm like, oh no, it's in, like, the stratosphere. This guy's going to plummet to the ground and explode. But if he bails out, he should be fine. And so he bails out, and then he didn't have, like, a parachute or anything. And so I'm just, like, watching this guy, literally, like, he's so high up. It's like a literal 2-3 minute drop. Like, I'm just sitting there just watching his body just tumble. Just like freaking out, and then it just hits the ground, and it's just like the cheesiest puff of smoke, and I'm just like, that's amazing, that's perfect. I feel so bad for the guy, but it's great, and they just look so terrified. I'm not even kidding. I've launched rockets, and the guys have just been like, it's just the funniest thing in the world, dude. The game is so hilarious.
That game is really good if you just want to kill some time and have any interest in space exploration, which you should.
Yeah, and I mean, like, from a sim perspective too, it's actually like, it's really good. Like, seriously, it's really coercive and tight from its technical standpoint. It's just got like, it's got like a really nice, solid, natural goofiness to it. But yeah, I was able to pick it up for like $9 or some shit.
Yeah, their webpage just said it's $23 normally, so that's 60-ish% off.
Yeah, dude, Steam Summer Sale, come at me, bro. And like, it's even better because I was reading a bunch of information about the Summer Sale, and I don't know if you saw IGN's article on why Microsoft and Sony should be embarrassed about the Steam trading card program, but
I saw it posted. I didn't read it though. What is the Steam trading card program?
Okay, so this is the way it works, and the reason I bring it up is because over the summer sale, right? Out of all the games they had on sale, 77 of them had Steam cards introduced to them. So the way that it works is when you buy the game, right, you'll get a set number of card drops for it. If it's a free-to-play game, like, say, Dota 2, you'll earn more card drops by spending in-game money on, like, keys, things like that, right? With these set card drops, as you play the game, just for, X amount of time, you have a % chance to get one of those cards from the sets. And the sets will, be, like, 6 cards, 8 cards, 10 cards, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you get all of them, you can combine them into a badge, which is your Steam level, and it can give you, every time you go up a Steam level, it gives you a coupon for a random game that it thinks you'd be interested in because Steam, tracks your game purchases, things like that. It also gives you a random unique emoticon and a random profile background, depending on what the game is.
That's a pretty rad feature for buying digital copies of stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it comes with it's like a feature that comes for free with it. But the thing about Steam is there's a user-based economy marketplace, right? So you can sell the cards.
Oh, what?
And like,
or trade them.
Yeah, or trade them. Like, to finish the sets.
Yeah, that's actually a big thing. Like Team Fortress 2 has all the hats that everybody wants and whatnot. There's a pretty common thing that you can actually trade a hat for a game. Like if somebody really wants a hat, you can just give them a hat and they can give you a download code, or download access to a game that like they have.
Yeah, like the community marketplace.
It actually, it is really interesting.
Steam is, like, awesome. It's so cool. But it's literally like Steam giving people free money to play games. That 77 of them were on sale for like 2 weeks.
I actually didn't know about the card thing, though that does explain it. I have a friend of mine bought a 4 bundle of Guns of Icarus Online, which is like this
Oh, Guns of Icarus
steampunk
is sick.
steampunk airship battle game.
Oh
And
yeah, it is.
I noticed my inventory had a whole bunch of new items. I was like, oh, what's all these? And there's a bunch of cards of the ships. I'm like, what the crap am I gonna do with these
dude,
cards?
you can sell them.
I did not know what the cards were.
Yeah, you can't even necessarily even make that much money off of them, depending on what it is. You're only going to be making like 10 cents to a quarter or something, unless you get a foil card, because those sell for like 50 cents to a couple bucks, depending on what game it is. But I mean, I play a lot of Dota 2, and in Dota 2 you get random item drops for playing, just like in Team Fortress, and also just like in Team Fortress, some of those drops are crates that you need to purchase a key to use. And so it's really cool now because I have like a 114 game Steam library, and like 60 of them or some shit have Steam trading cards with them. So I can literally just sit there and play games that I haven't necessarily played in a long time, take the cards and like sell them for keys for another game that I love playing. Like, it's such an awesome system that rewards people just for playing. And like, I've made a ton of badges too. That's the other thing. Like, it's a really good system, and I think everything about the Steam Summer Sale was just so good this year.
Except cool to see it on consoles.
It was really short. That was my only problem. Last year's Summer Sale went a lot longer. But what are you going to do? But besides Kerbal Space Program, I've actually been playing a lot of Sanctum 2. I don't know if either of you are familiar with the first Sanctum.
I've actually played Sanctum 2.
Yeah, I've actually been really, really impressed by it. I don't think you know what I'm talking about, Jay, so I'll explain it. Sanctum was the very first-person tower defense game. So it's a tower defense game with, like, really heavy first-person shooter mechanics, like you actually run in the lanes and shoot people, shit like that, right? Well, Sanctum 2 is the sequel, and when it came out, I didn't really have the money to get it, but it was on sale for all of, like, $2 during the Steam sale or something like that. And so I picked it up, and it has really been surprising me. You know how most sequels, it's kind of like an expansion? We had this conversation with New Vegas and Fallout 3. It's like a complete overhaul of Sanctum. There's like class-based gameplay, there's a perk system you unlock, there's like feats of strength, which are difficulty modifiers for the levels. There's multiplayer capabilities up to 4. Like, they have animated comics now for cutscenes that actually tell a cohesive story. It's been really blowing me away, and that's another one of the games with Steam trading cards, and those would actually go for decent prices. I can get like 15 cents a card. So
Nice.
I've just been playing with Steam, not even the games, just Steam.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned the Steam Summer Sale. It's like that almost is a game like itself. It's like Pokemon, you got to catch them all, and then when you're done, you're like, oh, I have all these games. I could play them, or I could buy this new game.
Yeah, I feel so
buying
bad.
The games is the game now. I mean, I'm fair. I'm a victim of it too. I usually don't buy a whole lot on Steam Summer Sales, but oh god, it was 2 years ago or something like that. I bought Psychonauts for like $1.50. So I saw it on sale, and it's a game I've been meaning to play, and I grabbed it, and I still have not yet played it.
That's
So I was like, I grabbed it. I'm like, oh, it's $1.50. I'll grab it now, and I'll play it at my leisure, play it whenever I feel like it, and just.
I actually have a ton of. I haven't touched my Steam account in a while, unfortunately. I have a ton of games on there. I've had my account since like 2000 and whenever Half-Life 2 came out is when I got my Steam account. I guess that leads to what I've been playing lately, right?
What have you been playing lately, Jay?
A whole bunch of shit, actually. Most notably, I've been spending a ton of time on SimCity 2013.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's working better than it used to, man. I mean, a lot of the problems have been fixed. Well, not all of them, but I mean, back when it first came out, you used to get kicked from the Origin server, and your city would get rolled back 2 hours or more, like all the time.
That game had one of the worst launches that I can remember.
If not, maybe. Well, what was it, War Z or whatever? That game probably had the worst, but.
Well, yeah, and it deserved it. Jesus.
That was for a different reason, though.
I don't know, dude. I mean, even from just a technical standpoint, have you seen that shit show video game? It's pretty impressive.
So bad.
I mean, then again, SimCity, that's a well-established brand, and the game was horrible. I mean, I cannot stress just how bad that game was.
Yeah,
it takes a game where you're like, you can build a city, a big one, and the whole goal is to build the biggest city you can build, and they give you a 2x2 kilometer cube.
See, that's the biggest problem with the game.
That's not a city.
The thing is, though, is the gameplay mechanics are actually really solid in it compared to the other
When
SimCity games.
When they don't glitch out and you have buildings growing out of other buildings like fungus.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
and-
Like a skyscraper growing out of another skyscraper.
Yep,
Like,
or you have
vertically.
or you have the permanent twitching buildings. A friend of mine was actually following pretty because he was really into SimCity, but he'd heard some bad things about 2013, so he was following what was happening with it before he decided to buy it, and he kept sending like all these little videos and animated GIFs of like stuff happening in the game, and it's just hysterical. Whenever you build a road, you can't build overpasses. The game decides where to build overpasses for you.
Yep, that's very true.
And it's completely just stupid. It doesn't know what it's doing. So I saw a map where I think the overpass was taller than skyscrapers.
That's totally possible.
It just did like just these big loops and circles. It looked like a roller coaster because the game had no idea what it was doing.
I want to live in that city.
The most effective city you could make, because you have very, very limited space to work with, was basically like row of houses, road, row of houses, road, and it's almost like a tower defense thing. You want cars to have to go like do like a grid pace.
You're
like
mazing traffic.
Yeah, because the thing is, the reason is because there was a glitch in the game. Cars couldn't turn. I think it was left.
Well,
Cars
it's gone
could only
now.
turn right. So like the best thing you could do was they would follow the road all the way to the end anyway because they can't turn left.
Even like a lot of that stuff was patched out in like the first week, but like the main problem.
That shit should have been patched out before beta even happened. I mean, those were major, major bugs, and they have no excuse for the fact that those made it to the launch.
See, for me, I like SimCity 2013, but the problem is after you play it for 3 hours, you pretty much always hit a brick wall, where you can't do anything else because your city's too small. But the whole thing is the game encourages multi-city gameplay within like these regions to make these economic structures. So like say like you have a city specialized with a university, you have a city specialized for ore processing, you have a high-tech industry city, and then you have like a low-density just like homes city.
Is this your little universe, or is it a multiplayer universe?
It can be either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they want everybody to just do the region play.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I remember basically SimCity kind of always does run into that problem. Eventually, you just run out of stuff to do. So I remember back in the SNES version of SimCity, which is the one that I only ever really played.
That's actually the other game I've been playing lately is the SNES version.
But once you get to a certain point, you run out of land.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So basically, if you're not at the megalopolis, which is the largest city size, if you're not at that yet, you basically have to just wait every month for the city gifts and hope it's one of those turn a square of water into a square of land things. You can build more stuff.
Yeah, the landfills.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
landfill.
some. So I just played it recently and tried to actually get up to a megalopolis again. I sat down and played it for a good 5 hours.
You want your Mario statue?
Didn't get it though. No, that's why. That's what happens when you beat the game is you finally get that Mario statue. But I was playing on map 061, which is the biggest map in the game, and I literally systematically went out and covered every single pixel pretty much with like buildings, and I was only at 300 million or 300,000 people. I can't remember which one it was, and I was nowhere near getting near the megalopolis. I was still at not Capital, but the one after Capital.
Did you get to
Metropolis? Yeah, Metropolis.
That's really where you stuck. I remember my brother, back when I played it, I was pretty young. My brother was 4 years older than me, so he was a little more serious into the game. He was basically at the border of Metropolis to Megalopolis.
He must have been going fucking crazy.
Oh, it took him a long time to do it.
See that now. Here's the next question: did he play with Game Genie or was he playing just like legit?
Straight legit. Didn't even do the year one cheat.
See, SimCity for the SNES, playing it legit is pretty fucking boring because you only get money once a year, and even if you play it on like the highest gameplay speed, you can only do like a very small amount of expansion every year, even if you're playing on easy mode and start out with quite a bit.
I think he even actually played with natural disasters on fairly high. I don't know how he did it, but he really enjoyed it, I guess. Yeah, it's something. I mean, that's the problem. SimCity 2013 is even smaller in scope than the SNES game. That's just, come on.
Yeah, it might be. It's hard to compare the sizes because in the SNES game you don't zone things. You just
Well, that's true.
You plop those like squares.
The SNES game was a lot more simplified. I mean, in SimCity, I remember in 2013, isn't it like every single actual citizen of your town has a job and like has their own little AI code?
Oh yeah. You can stalk every citizen.
You are so creepy, dude. I like how in your review you're like, "There's a ton of people to stalk." Like, oh my god, dude. Put the man away. Trim the beard.
That reminds me of one of the other hilarious bugs I heard about. The NPCs back when it first launched did not have a specific house they would live in, so they would just drive to the nearest empty residence and go in.
I live here now.
It was literally like first come, first serve residence.
Make my day law. Shootings are on the rise once again in SimCity.
I think they did that for jobs too. They just drove to the nearest like commercial center.
I work here now.
I make microchip.
It's like
microchip.
It's like some bizarre dystopian future novel. You could probably write something like that where you just everything is first come, first serve.
Sounds like
true free
a
market
horrific version of the Flintstones. Just whatever's near is what you do. That's just all you have.
It's capitalism at its purest. It is the definition of "fuck you got mine."
So I've been playing something else. I just started today. Got about 2 hours in. Been playing a game that's a little bonkers called Saints Row the Third.
Oh yeah, that one's interesting.
It's a pretty wacky game.
I told you it was absolutely ridiculous, and I wasn't kidding, dude. It is something else.
Well, I mean, you guys have played it, right, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I played it all the way through.
Dude,
that's one of the few games I tried to platinum.
That first sequence where you're fucking flying through the air, and there's this airplane coming at you, and your guy's just like, yeah, I'm gonna bust into the fucking front window, shoot up the pilots, shoot up everybody inside, and come out its ass, and I'll rescue you. That's what's up.
Oh yeah. Also,
hey yo.
How far are you? Because depending on how far you are, you probably haven't even seen shit yet with how weird that game is.
Oh, dude, by the end of that game, it's just...
You just
God.
don't... Nothing matters anymore. You just don't even care.
Yeah, I just, I finished the first couple missions, and then, like, where it lets you start free roaming, I just started kind of causing havoc for, like, an hour.
So you're not very far. Oh, God. That game, I remember my roommate was playing it, and he actually stuck with the game. I played it for a while, but then kind of fell off. I walked in and he was playing like this fantasy thing, fighting monsters. I'm like, what game is this?
Oh, when you get sucked into the video
yeah.
game?
He's like, oh, this is Saints Row. He's like, oh, this is Saints Row. I'm like,
you get sucked into an MMO,
right.
dude. You don't even know.
Yeah, like I said, this game goes absolutely bonkers.
It seems like the people who developed that game had the most fun of anybody ever.
Well, see, that's the thing. You really have to look at the series as a whole, because the first Saints Row is very much like
GTA
a Grand Theft Auto knockoff. It really is.
It's exactly a GTA ripoff with worse mechanics.
Yeah, like all of the wackiness is in it, but it's really well hidden in like a secret shop at the end of the game. Like it's pretty much non-existent. And then in the second game, they started embracing it a little bit more. You know, it's not completely ridiculous, but it's still a little bit silly.
They're also trying to distance themselves from GTA. They didn't want to just be a GTA clone. They're like, yeah, we're going to play like GTA, but with us, you get way more tongue-in-cheek joke factor.
Yeah, so they start in Saints Row 2 embracing it a little bit and starting to run with it. And then Saints Row 3 was like they're just sitting in the office passing around a fucking beer bong, just like, okay, dude, well... zombies? Are there zombies in this game yet? Like,
there's a dildo gun, isn't there?
It's like a dildo sword.
Dildo sword. Yeah. There's like it's like they had to just pass around the office like, all right, here's your idea form, fill it out, whatever idea you come up with, slap it down. Here's copies for everybody in your family. You got kids? Give it to them. Have them write shit down. Bring it in. And then instead of like looking through, oh, what can we use? What can we get rid of? They literally just used everything.
No, dude, have you seen the footage for Saints Row the 4th yet, Josh?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is what they've shown from it, okay? So the game starts out, it's inauguration day because the Saints are now like president.
Yeah. Your character from like the 3rd or whatever, some saint is now the president. I
the fucking president. So you also start out, or I don't know if you start out with it or if it's just like really close to the start, but you get fucking superpowers. So you can like freeze people and have super speed and can fly and shit. Fuck you not. And like the first decision you have to make right off the bat they're like, Mr. President, we need your signature on one of these. And you have to pick to either cure world hunger, right? Stop that shit, or cure AIDS. Those are your two choices. And then aliens invade. And I'm not kidding. Like, the main enemy of the game is fucking aliens, dude. Like, the whole, like...
So it's kind of like Earthbound.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so it's like a Deathstroke and Deadpool. One started out as a blatant ripoff of the other, and then just went batshit insane, and it's just like it's a whole other entity now. Just
it's insane in the best
side.
way though, because Saints Row is a game that really just went, you know what? Fuck it, we can do that.
Dildo swords, I'm down. Like
yeah, it's like yeah, why not? It's funny. It's like, but I kind of feel like making a beat 'em up right now. No, screw it, throw it in there.
Yeah, dude.
I kind of feel making a flight sim right now. Yeah, screw it, throw it in there.
It's gonna be really weird to see the new GTA compared to the next Saints Row though, and see how far they've
banana costume and surf a Boeing 747 and crash it into a fucking elementary school. Yeah, fucking throw it in there.
I'm pretty sure GTA is going to do better than Saints Row, and the main reason I think like that
still does, doesn't it? I mean, it still
well, it does. It's not. I'm not going to knock Saints Row for what it does because it's a stylistic choice. If you don't like it, you don't have to play the game. It doesn't necessarily make it a bad game. It's tailored to a very specific crowd. You know what I mean?
It is a form of humor that not everyone would be on board with.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like Saints Row, that's perfectly fine. I have fun with it because it's ridiculous, and I think that's hilarious.
It's the same reason bonkers, man.
Yeah, it's the same reason I'm going to go see Frankenstein's Army on Friday. Like,
well, Saints Row is the kind of game that it tells a joke and then makes sure that you're in on the joke. Like, as it's telling the joke, it looks back and, winks at you and gives you a little nudge.
Yeah, exactly. But, you think about Grand Theft Auto, and it's really beautifully written generally. I mean, most of the story is really, it's pretty solid. I mean, yeah, it reads like a mob movie, but that doesn't mean it's poorly written.
I've always said every single GTA just wants to be Scarface.
Yeah, that's
Vice
literally
City
all
was Scarface.
Yeah, not
exactly.
Not like subtly.
No, yeah. I mean,
like literally was.
Nico, my cousin. Like,
and look at it though. Vice City was probably the most popular GTA.
It was really good too. It earned.
It was. It's my favorite GTA.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite game of the generation. Actually, I thought for that.
Yeah, I mean,
the last generation was GTA Vice City.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, which Vice City was technically an expansion on GTA 3.
And GTA 3 doesn't have shit on Vice City.
Oh yeah, no, GTA 3 was a good idea, just not enough, and it was shit. But then Vice City came out, they're like, okay, here you go, and everybody's like, that's what we want.
Well, also, if you think about it too, and this is something a lot of people forget, Vice City was one of the first games to have licensed music. And not only did it have licensed music, it had radio stations of licensed music. So it wasn't like one or two tracks in the game's soundtrack.
And some of the best music ever in a game.
Fucking hours of music. Like, I remember being in my 7th grade year in middle school and going out and buying the soundtrack to Vice City just to actually have it.
The giant box set they used to sell back then?
Yeah, dude.
I remember playing Vice City just, I'm pretty sure everybody is, flipping through radio stations, and then, like, Aha's Take On Me comes on, you're like, what?
Yeah.
It just cemented as the best game ever.
It's just, everything about it is so iconic. So in a lot of ways, I think 5 is going to beat Saints Row the 4th, but, also, it's because if you look at what 5's doing, it's also adding a lot of stuff gameplay-wise.
Oh
like, don't get me wrong, the superpowers are legit, and the addition of the alien stuff is legit. That's some cool additional stuff being added. But I mean, if you look at what 5's adding, it's huge things.
GTA 5 is increasing its capacity as a sandbox game, where it gives you control to really actually do whatever you want. Saints Row isn't really a sandbox game. I don't know how I describe it. It's a free-roaming, whatever the fuck it wants to be.
Chaos simulator?
Yeah, it's like a free-roaming chaos simulator. You can do a lot of things, but you still basically are playing Saints Row. In GTA 5, from what we've seen, you can go golfing, you can go scuba diving, you can go hunting, or you can pull off a bank heist and murder people and bang a prostitute and kill her with a baseball bat, and then just start driving on sidewalks and see how long you can survive against the National Guard. It's still the same game.
That right there, the addition of the missions being heists, that, like the players actually planning out the choices, you know what I mean? That's fucking huge. That's so cool.
That is
and you can
huge,
control
but
3 people too. That's really neat too.
I say it is huge, but call me a cynic because I am.
You're a cynic.
Thank you. I can already envision exactly how that whole heist system is going to work. They're going to give you a fairly binary choice of what you want to do. Like, you can go in guns a-blazing, or you can go stealthy.
My guess is it's probably going to be like 3 or 4 options.
Yeah, it's probably you ever played Deus Ex, the new one, Human Revolution?
Yeah.
Where you can just walk through whatever complex you're in and just gun everybody down. Or there's all the little vents and overhangs, and you can sneak around and do it that way. Most of which you'll probably find by the time you get to the end of the mission after killing everybody, and you see all these little vents that you could have come in through, and you're like, oh, I didn't notice that. But anyway, it's like, it gives you the option, but the end result is always going to be the same. It's choice, but it's kind of the illusion of choice.
I don't know. In my head, it's going to be a lot like Payday. I don't know how much experience you have playing Payday, blah, but while the decisions on the heists are like fairly linear, a lot of there are a ton of little decisions. Like one of the big missions that they added to it when they brought it to the Steam port was they did No Mercy, the hospital from the first Left 4 Dead. And the mission literally takes place like minutes before the first Left 4 Dead starts.
Oh, that's super cool.
Oh, it's super fun too. But it's one of those things where you can go in guns blazing and try to control a hospital while sawing through doors and sawing into patients' room, or you can go in with silenced weapons and take out the cameras, hold everyone hostage, answer the phones. Like, there's tons of little things that just make it feel really coercive and real. And it makes the game fun. It's like
I think the biggest thing GTA 5 is gonna have going for it as far as the heists go is not really the decisions, but probably gonna be the fact that you can actually control multiple people involved in each heist. So you have your getaway driver, you have your
sniper,
man, you have your sniper, and that's what I think will give it a lot of its diversity. Is who do you want to control? Who do you want to be during this heist? I think that's what really most of the diversity is going to come from.
I imagine it's going to have you micromanaging almost.
Yeah, I can see that.
Probably not. You're probably going to have, like, the same characters are probably going to have their fortes. Well, this guy's like your demolitions dude. This guy's your stealthy, sneaky guy. Who's really good at talking in disguises. Or this guy's your sniper. This guy's your getaway driver. And they'll probably basically do those roles each time, and you'll get to tell them what you want them to do, or figure out, instead of going in guns a-blazing where probably everybody would just walk in with bazookas and whatnot, you could have everybody just walk in, nonchalant, post it out, basically stealth mission or blow up mission, and then you just get to control who you want to be during each type.
I don't know, the thing that has me really excited about it is if you think about Grand Theft Auto 4, at least in my opinion, far and away the best mission in that entire game is the bank robbery. And like I said, it could be a personal thing, but I mean, everything about it was like playing Heat. It was great. It was so good. So, like, if you actually have an entire game that plays that well, just like robberies and just heists and shit that actually feels as good as that one did, dude, I can't wait to play it. I don't think I could give them my money fast enough.
There's not anything cooler than a bank robbery.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Think about it.
Not to sound like stereotypical dudes.
No, but I used to play City of Heroes, and, on and off for years and years and years, and they finally added City of Villains and added some other stuff. They added bank robbery missions, where if you're on the hero side, you basically zone into an area, and you're given a timer. You have to stop a bank robbery, and there's a super villain robbing a bank. And if you're the villain, you rob a bank. You got to beat up a hero trying to stop you.
That sounds like so much fun.
It was so cool. It's like that's what I want to do. And what is it about bank robberies that are so cool? They're so romanticized.
I like putting out fires in video games. Anyone want to comment?
No, let's just move on.
No, I'm gonna enjoy that. I like putting out fire in video games. I like Firefighter Simulator.
Well, I mean, Vice City. If you hijacked a fire truck.
Oh, the fire truck. Yeah, you could do that in 3 too. It's just like it just felt so tangent. Just.
That was a little out of nowhere. I like playing a taxi driver, but not like Crazy Taxi.
More like Simpsons Hit and Run.
Hey man, that game was pretty solid.
I loved that game. That was a great game, actually. Speaking of great games, Earthbound came out on the Virtual Console last week.
Oh my God!
I'm so pissed though. Isn't it only Wii U?
Wii U only.
Damn it! I only have a Wii.
The thing that is really cool though is when it originally was released, it was released with the player's guide. That was super awesome. I only had the chance to see it a few times, but they included the player's guide with the new VC version. So I guess like you can see the player's guide in the middle of your controller as you're playing it.
Oh snap! God, Earthbound was such a good game.
My favorite game of all time.
God,
Hands
that
down.
game was so good.
I swear.
Why was that game so good? Why was Earthbound
RPG
so
in a
good?
modern setting. First one that really ever did that. I think that's what really caught me with it.
It wasn't really just a modern setting. I mean, it was like surreal. That was some real like Salvador Dali.
Modern setting / sci-fi / psychological thriller.
Cut out your eyes. Like,
with
oh
little
man,
kids.
I found this heavy.
And your entire cast of characters is probably below the age of 10.
You're below the age of 10, and the end of the game is an abortion.
Yeah, I mean to be fair,
Abortion / rape.
that being on the Virtual Console for the Wii U is pretty much enough for me to go get a Wii U. I feel like.
I wonder
Same here.
if that game sells well enough, will they consider translating Mother 3 or porting it over? The guys who did the fan translation, I've already posted a thing.
Starman.net.
Yeah, the guys who did the big Mother 3 fans translation, they're like, look, Nintendo, you can use our scripts. We will give them to you. We're not doing this for profit. If you want to use them, you can tweak them, but we've basically done the bulk of the grunt work. You're welcome to them, because we would love to see a legitimate release of Mother 3 in America.
Yeah, it is a good question. I've played through most of Mother 3 actually on
That game was really good too.
on a repo card I had made.
I had to emulate it.
You got to get the repo cart, man.
Of course, you know that ROM you emulated. It's from a copy a friend lent you. You didn't download that illegally.
Of Mother 3?
Of
There's
course.
no illegal.
Oh.
You can't get it in America.
Shh. I thought you were still saying Earthbound. Ignore me.
No.
Ignore me.
Earthbound I had. No, Mother 3, I mean, the only way to actually play it in English was to download the ROM and apply an English patch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people have been clamoring at Nintendo, release Mother 3, give us Mother 3, we will buy that game. And they're like, no, we're not going to do it.
Well, and they could do it as a release
Earthbound
on,
didn't sell very well, but they don't realize that's because the only version of Earthbound they have released here was that big collector's edition with the enormous box and everything with it. And it was
$70.
Yeah, it was $70.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough sale, especially back then.
Actually, I remember back in the day, Josh bought a game for $85 from Toys R Us once.
It's 80, and it was Toys R Us cranked their prices up, and I was really stupid at the time.
What
And
game?
It was a
King of
Capcom
Dragons.
beat 'em up.
King of Dragons, which is still probably my favorite beat 'em up to this day, and I play it a lot.
Oh,
So
well,
I think I've actually gotten my $80 worth
And
out of it.
yeah,
actually, the value's still at 50, so you didn't lose too much of its value. It's one
Is
of the
it
more
at 50
valuable.
for that game?
Yeah, it's one of the more valuable SNES games. I think it's like 50 or 60.
Did not know that. But yeah, I threw that thing in, and me and my roommate play it all the time.
Yeah, it's good. I was thinking about actually doing a review of it on my YouTube channel, Dubious Gaming Online.
Plug. If you do King of Dragons, you also have to do Knights of the Round though.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
It was the precursor, I believe, to. Or I can never remember if it was the one before or after. It's the same team that did King of Dragons. And the reason I can't remember if it was before or after, it had some things in it that were worse, it had some things in it that were better. Like the characters were a little more. It was only like 3 characters, but they were decently diversified, and I think it had like some Street Fighter motions or something in it.
Oh,
Maybe not
nice.
Street Fighter motions, maybe just up-down motions, something like that. But there's a little bit more to the combat system. But
So
the game itself was a
a
little cheaper.
2D beat 'em up then, or was it? Or you could still move up and down.
It's like Final Fight, where
Nice.
it's 2D, but you still have a little bit of a 3D play. I don't even know what you would call that anymore. It's not isometric. It's not it's 2D, 2.5D,
Oh, that's kind of weird.
2.5D. But it played a lot like that. and obviously the setting is King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, that kind of thing. You play like
Dude, that sounds like so much fun. I've never even heard of it, and it just sounds like a blast.
Yeah, Knights of the Round was pretty good. I still think King of Dragons controls a little better. I mean, it's a little more streamlined, a little less.
And it's Capcom, so you know it's good.
Oh, the game.
It's
really,
good.
Really good. It's.
I mean,
it's one of those games though. It's one of those games though. You got to play it with a friend.
The pre-aughts Capcom games are so fucking good.
Yeah, well, I like most of Capcom stuff. I was just being slightly facetious, so that's my bad.
A lot of people have been hating on Capcom lately for
a lot of those people.
For a lot of good reasons too, though. I mean, yeah.
Nobody can deny Capcom doesn't make good games, but they cannot deal with the fact they're a major company. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't
like
know
a pretty good way of putting it.
That seems to be a common trait for Japanese business.
Yeah, they know how to make games. They don't know how to deal with the public.
So I want to read some tweets to you guys. Can I read some tweets to you guys?
Ooh, Twitter time?
Lay it on me.
So lately there's been some controversy with a recent Blops 2 patch, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And there has been a very, very strong outcry from the public against some of the game development crew.
Well, you nerfed my P90.
All right, so here's one. End your fucking life, you cancer cunt. I will fuck your daughter.
Just right to it. Bring his family in. That's how you do it. Cut to the chase.
I can almost respect the brutality a little bit.
Another tweeter writes, "I hope you die." Another one writes,
"They're just so short and sweet. Just I hope you die."
Haha, screw David Vorhar. Fucking up DSR and Ballista can't fucking hit quad feeds now. Hashtag kill yourself, Vonderhaar. Seriously.
If that starts trending, that would be hilarious.
Oh my god.
And those are just a couple of ones that I've seen. Apparently, there's just been this enormous outcry against
what was
against
the
game
patch?
devs. It changed the fire rate for 2 guns.
So it was a nerf to 2 overpowered weapons.
You stole my gun. Kill yourself while I rape your daughter.
I don't play Call of Duty.
I am the rapist.
I don't play Call of Duty. Nice, whitest kids you know reference.
What can I say?
Yeah, I don't play Call of Duty. I don't know anything about the game other than it's just your pretty bog standard military shooter. I played it once and I just knifed everybody to death I could. Was it like the 2 most popular because they were hands down the best weapons and they just nerfed them because they wanted other weapons to be viable?
You know, I'm not 100% sure which weapons they were. I haven't been playing Call of Duty for a couple months now, which is probably a good thing. But
probably if that's the community, yeah, I think so.
Come on now, Call of Duty's notorious for having the friendliest community on the
the friendliest online.
So nice.
Come to Call of Duty. We don't use racial slurs or bigotry or any of it.
It's like a big bag of hugs.
I've heard if you give some of the guys your address, they will send you cupcakes if you're a new player.
Oh yeah. I do that all the time. I just tell them I'm new and I
disclaimer: don't do this.
And I get feces sent to me all the time.
You'll be inundated with dick pics.
So many.
So after all these tweets, actually, just today there's an article. Activision actually said, "Stop threatening our game developers," as a quote.
You know what? That's funny, but it actually touches on a pretty funny subject about the internet in general. People are still operating on the assumption that the internet is very anonymous,
and it's not anymore.
It basically is. I mean, but everybody has a Facebook now, so your shit is tied together. Especially when you link all of your shit together. It's like, why are you sending death threats? Like, we know you're not actually threatening to kill a dude. You're just angry and you're expressing it the same way any douchebag on 4chan does, because everybody wants to be like a 4chan poster, right?
Well, and
that's the paragon of the internet. But anyway,
it also
it's like internet training school.
But it's it's a very juvenile response.
My first goatee.
But it's kind of to be expected in a way. But it's like people got to realize. But just by saying "fuck you," I hate you, and I want you to die, and I hope you die in a car wreck, or just whatever more detail people want to go into, how does that actually help you tell the company what it is that you're upset about and what it is that you want?
Not to mention it creates a bad stigma about the community too.
Exactly.
But, I mean, maybe it could just be me coming from playing a lot of PC games, so I'm used to balance patches like every week.
MOBAs.
Yeah,
MOBAs.
you know what I mean?
Let's talk about a lot of patches and a lot of community problems.
Yeah,
MOBAs.
but I mean, even then, it still just seems like a drastic reaction. Like, you know, if you're looking at like League patch notes, they're gonna be like, "Oh, great, they fucking nerfed Aurelia for the 80 billionth time. Fuck you, Morello," and then that's about the end of it. It's been a very long time since I've seen a "Dear God, freak, go kill yourself," or you know,
Especially over
Iron
something
Stylus,
like
I'm gonna rape your daughter. Like, you don't see that too often, or at least not just in response to something like an attack speed nerf.
I don't really troll the League of Legends forums, so I don't know if that happens.
Oh,
but
they're
yeah,
pretty funny. They're pretty good, dude. They're pretty funny. It's the modern day freak show. It's solid.
It's pretty good, dude. It's like going to the circus.
It's great, dude. Peanuts and everything.
5 out of 5 would play again.
Yeah.
You get to poke the monkey with a stick.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, that's just such a bad reaction.
Well, the problem is, it's the vocal minority, and it is far and away the minority. But the problem is like, you gotta think that's the minority that they hear. That is it's the vocal assholes, but it's the ones that the actual companies hear. The majority don't really say anything, and you're not really gonna tell if they like something or not.
I mean, it's the same idiots that got the Xbox One nerfed.
Exactly. It's the same. I wouldn't say idiots or nerf.
Yeah,
some
eat
people
a
probably
dick,
think
dude.
it's better. I mean, personally, I think that it got worse, but that's personal opinion.
Oh
But
man, sorry, I don't want a system that owns my balls.
It's the exact same thing.
I just want a system with family share.
It is the exact same thing that happened there. But it's because like the majority of the people who are going to make up most of their profits, which is who they have to please, let's be honest, it is still a business. Those are the ones that don't say anything. They can create as many surveys as they want. They can do whatever. Everybody's just going to say no, thank you, do it later.
Well, and those people speak with their wallets. They don't speak.
Exactly. But that's only noticeable over time. They have to make those decisions before it gets out on the market. They can't risk, okay, I think most people are going to want to buy this, so let's go with that. And then 6 months later, you know, half the company's out of a job because they had to downsize. Those aren't gambles that they want to take. They want to try to listen to the people that they know are going to buy it.
It still just seems like such a ridiculous thing, though, because not only are they overreacting and making their community look really dangerous and childish, too, but that's a community that already has the stigma of being gun-toting maniacs.
That is true.
Like,
That is
you know,
very true.
when some kid in League says, you know, oh, I'm going to shoot a bunch of kids, like, even though he goes to jail, you know, people still picture just some nerd in his basement. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. I'm a nerd in a basement right now. But,
Actually,
like, you know, some guy with Call of Duty says he's going to go shoot up a school. People are like, oh my
probably
god.
actually has
Yeah, he's going to
fun.
fucking do it.
What
dude.
the
He's got
fuck
an
is he
ACOG.
gonna do?
Yeah,
Actually,
like
it's funny you mention that because there was that one, I can't remember his name, but a little bit ago, like, you know, he threatened somebody on Facebook. He said, you know, I'm going to go shoot up a school. LOL,
yeah, he
JK.
also lived near a school too.
Yeah, and
retarded.
he got arrested. It's like, you got to realize the internet is not as anonymous anymore. Especially, I mean, he posted on Facebook or something, so his name.
Yeah,
is
like
literally tied to
I'm
it.
not saying he should have gone to jail because I don't think he should have.
I think
but
that
I
was an
definitely
overreaction,
think
but
he deserved
isn't a
punishment. That's
this isn't a
fucking
political
retarded.
reaction show.
What if those people tweeting live? I mean, what if they live in L.A. near Infinity Ward?
Well, basically, the point I'm making is people probably should stop having these ridiculous knee-jerk reactions online just because they like something. They should actually probably think about what they're saying, because the internet is becoming so integrated into our culture. It's not just this background of white noise that generally most people are going to ignore. I mean, you know, there's going to be consequences for what you say now, which is good, though. I mean, it can also be good, because there could be consequences for what you say. If you have legitimate issue with something that developers are doing, you have a way to get in touch with the developer itself, which you couldn't do, you know, back in the 80s and 90s. You'd be like, well, I hope they release a game I like. Now you can watch a game as it gets made, and your influence can be felt on that game if enough people feel the same way.
And even not even that many people with Kickstarter too. Just saying. Like
Oh,
some of
yeah,
those tiers, like some of those tiers, they give you so much shit. It's ridiculous.
I mean, Kickstarter's another thing. People are literally voting with their dollars of what they want to see made.
Mm-hmm.
See, I honestly do have one problem with Kickstarter though, and that's you're investing in this project, and I mean, yeah, you're getting the game and whatever, but like, because you're investing so much, do you think that like people who are investing in it should be, privy to some profit sharing if the game does super well?
No, because
I don't think
it's
so.
kind of laid out immediately in the thing. I mean, you don't have a minimum of what you have to do, and if you're willing to give somebody $500 and they tell you that this is what you're going to get for it, and you're like, that's fine, I will give you $500 if you can just make this game. Then apparently the end user has no problem with it. Just because you put in a lot of money, I mean, you put in way more than that, it doesn't necessarily entitle you to profit sharing or any sort of thing like that if you're willingly doing it.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
the whole point of Kickstarter is you only back what you want.
yeah, you're not becoming a partner with Kickstarter. You're basically making a donation. That's all it is.
Yeah, for sure. It just seems
who you hope.
It just seems like the way they funded it seems like that the end user isn't always getting exactly what they deserve. But I don't. That's just my opinion.
Well, see, I disagree with that entirely. I did the Kickstarter for Boss Monster, and the game's everything I ever wanted. I gave him $10, and I have a badass card game now. It's perfect. Like.
See, but here's where my problem would start being is if, for instance, they, okay, so you back them and like you say back them for like $5,000 or something like that, and the game, like, not only do they make what they need with the Kickstarter, they go way beyond it, and then the game sells like fucking crazy. Since you were in on that ground level floor, I mean, I feel like some of those people who contributed a ton should be allowed to get a small percentage of the profit sharing.
Well, I see exactly where you're coming from, but I think
because you technically you helped pay for the creation of it, so
you did, but what I'm saying is they're very upfront about what you get when you donate.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen a bunch of Kickstarters. I almost bought into the Cheetah Man 2 Kickstarter.
But if you want to get that involved in the project itself, you could probably, I mean, you could contact the people who make the thing and probably ask them about, hey, I want to get a little more involved than just donating a Kickstarter. I want to be a partner. I mean, their contact information is there. So if you really want to go above and beyond, you can contact them directly and say, hey, I see your maximum donation tier is like, $400. I'm seeing this might be an actual business venture. I'm talking about giving you several $1,000s, helping you make this thing actual reality, but in return, etc. So the avenue is there. It's just not as, I guess, advertised. Kickstarter is supposed to be very indie style,
See, that's the other thing I was going to say. Is a lot of
10,000 people donating $2, and so that you have enough to make a budget little indie game.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Is with the exception of Zach Asshole Braff, all of those are. Pretty much everything on Kickstarter is indie devs and things like that. They're not wanting to give up shares of their project. It's their IPs.
That's the whole point of Kickstarter is for indie. It's for people who don't have an avenue otherwise.
Yeah, I don't really see that. I
have another counter to that though. What about? So did you guys see the Veronica Mars movie Kickstarter recently?
I did not.
All of those people easily had money to make that movie. However, they still kickstarted it. What do you think about that?
I think they're assholes abusing a system.
That I do agree is pretty scummy. If you come from a background where you can easily fund your own project and you're going to Kickstarter just to ease the burden on your own wallet and not risk your own money, that I do think is a little scummy. But it's like, how do you police something like that? I mean, just because you're famous and successful, does that
make you ineligible for a Kickstarter account?
Exactly. Yeah. Does that preclude you from being able to try to crowdsource something on your own?
Because I mean, Kevin Smith could have kickstarted Clerks 3 and people would have paid fucking out the ass for that. But
definitely.
But Kevin Smith isn't a fucking asshole, so he actually paid for it himself.
Well, it all comes back to the whole
he is
Zach
an asshole,
Braff
but
thing.
in a different way.
Like, the whole Zach Braff fiasco with Kickstarter, right?
Actually, I did not hear about that. No.
Okay, so the big whole thing, and the reason why I brought it up is I don't know anything about the Veronica Mars movie, but the first example I know of somebody with way too much money using Kickstarter to start a project is Zach Braff. And his whole idea is he's making some fucking movie with his brother, right? And he's like, well, I didn't want to go through a studio, and I'm putting up $10 million of my own, and I just want people to donate, and I just wanted it to be like an art house project. But I agree, because it's total bullshit. He could have put up $20 million. Like, yeah, I understand that he's into the whole, and I watched there's this movie coming out called Kickstarted, I think is what it is. It's a documentary on the whole crowdsourcing system. It's really good, the footage I've seen from it. And he goes into about how the main reason I'm doing this too is to give fans an avenue to interact with me. And yeah, that's partially true, but you shouldn't. I mean, I think it seems really douchey to be like, my only real fans are people that buy into my Kickstarter. Those are
give me money.
They're the only real people that deserve to see how my movies get made.
You know what's funny is before the Kickstarter thing, if an actor themselves or somebody who's very successful wanted to make their own movie, they would literally start their own production company.
Yep.
A lot of people's favorite movies were the actors themselves, the writers of the movie just made their own production company.
I mean, look at Danny DeVito.
And then suddenly that production company, you could produce other movies, and suddenly it's a legit production company. But there's no that happens constantly in Hollywood. What the fuck you, Zach Braff?
Yeah, dude. Like, it's not like his logic's bad. It's that it's bad when he's fucking rich as shit, when he's living off Scrubs money for the next 80 years. Like, it seems so stupid to me.
It's bullshit.
But it's one of those things is, can you blame him for doing it if it's working? If people are willingly giving him money?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, you're saying I can't be entirely mad at him because he's taking advantage of stupid people. Yeah, I can. That sucks for stupid people.
Okay, okay, it's true. He's taking advantage of stupid people. It's like the whole point of Kickstarter is you're supposed to vote with your dollars. You know,
yeah,
if you want to see this thing made, you give them money and they make it.
I don't know, dude. It seems like
it is really douchey, but it's one of those things. I think if you actually just step back and look at it, it's a very gray line.
I guess that's fair. It's just, I guess I'm more pissed at the guy selling the health tonic than the person who's buying it. I mean,
it's true. You know,
it's a personal thing, I guess.
It kind of feels like that they're preying on the weak.
I mean, there was a line there.
It's like how could Kickstarter define something like that to make it prevented? Like, do they just have to say, oh, if you already have this much money, you're not allowed to use Kickstarter?
Well, and you could hide your money overseas. So
exactly. I mean, there's a lot of ways around it. It's one of those things. It's almost up to a community self-policing itself. But the shitty thing is, I mean, if they support things like that, what the fuck are we supposed to do? I mean, what the fuck is an old guy supposed to do? Like, oh, yeah, that guy's an asshole for doing it. Yeah, but he made $6 million from donations, so...
Sounds like you should make your own Kickstarter, then.
It's like apparently a lot of people wanted to see what he had to do, so it's like, can you...
If you guys want to see more YouTube videos from me, you better give me $5,000, and at the $100 mark, I'll send you a DVD that I burned from my fucking PC.
Yeah, I mean, he brought up a good point. He's like, at a $10 donation, you get to see weekly vlog updates of the production. And it's like, cool, but why are the only fans getting that the ones who give you money? Like, there are people who support your career all the time who aren't buying into Kickstarter because they don't know about it or just don't use it.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're just getting fucked for it for no reason.
I have noticed on Kickstarter I generally see it for games, not necessarily other stuff. I did see one for building a life-size statue of RoboCop in Detroit.
That would be fucking sick.
And
maybe it would save Detroit too.
I was like, that's a Kickstarter even I could get behind.
Yeah, I'll fund that shit, dude.
But anyway, it's like, it's like usually they actually give you pretty decent stuff for your donations.
Yeah, they really do. I
mean, once you get up into like, triple or even quadruple digits, it's like you actually can go there and meet them and have a hands-on touch on the project itself if you're willing to give them so much money. And so generally, I mean, because there's no rules on Kickstarter about giving donation rewards, but generally people are pretty generous.
Mm-hmm. They're normally really good.
Usually, from what I've seen of the Kickstarters that I've thought about backing, or some of the ones that I have backed, you generally, I'm like, oh, that's, if you give them $500, which is a decent amount of money, you generally get something that's actually worth $500. Or, if you're really into the project enough to give them $500, it seems like something that would be worth that much to you. So it does kind of self-police itself.
So, they released the PlayStation 4 specs a couple days ago, and they now know the core temperature.
Topic. Go.
Smooth transition.
You did tell me about the core temperature thing, and
yeah, that's fucking cool.
30 degrees Celsius.
I'm calling shenanigans. they can give me whatever specs they want, unless I see that thing in actual operating conditions.
Well, I think it was the FCC that released the actual specs. It wasn't.
Yeah,
Sony.
but that doesn't matter. I mean, if they give them a big enough donation, they could probably get the numbers fudged. Not I'm saying that they would. That sounds paranoid, but it's just they're probably having it in a clean room, running with fans on that's decently air conditioned. What about the sweaty nerd in his house
Arizona
with no air conditioning? I want to see a PlayStation 4 in a room that's like 86 degrees, coated in a fine layer of cat hair and Cheeto dust. I want actual operating conditions, and then show me the numbers.
The Missouri standard.
Yeah, is there that much
Exactly.
Cheeto dust in Missouri?
I just imagine the Dust Bowl, but it's orange. Just like...
I'm going stereotypical. The nerds drank Mountain Dew and eat Cheetos, but you know what I mean. I mean, people often cram their consoles in with all their other AV and stereo equipment, which may not have the best airflow and whatnot. They can tell me that their thing's going to operate at this temperature. Until I see the environment it operated at that temperature in, I don't care. I mean, they're absolutely meaningless numbers. I could throw a PS4 outside in the Antarctic and have it operating at insanely low temperatures, but it's buried 10 feet deep in snow.
I call bullshit on that because I think it wouldn't be operating, but that could just be me too.
Yeah, but you get what I mean, though. Until I see the conditions it was operating in, the actual operating temperatures don't mean anything.
So Comic-Con was last weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Sure was.
Did you guys see the announcement for the new Batman and Superman movie?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm with him. I know we're the three of us, or at least two of us, and that stance is Superman fucking sucks.
Superman is the worst.
What about Batman? What's wrong with Batman?
Batman's a dick, but he's like the dick you like to hate.
See, my problem with Superman is, okay guys, let's make a superhero that has every superpower, is morally unscrupulous, and its only weakness is fucking space rock. That's a relatable character.
A rare space rock, which he generally can kind of just overpower anyway most of the time.
Yeah, like it's just everything about Superman just fucking drives
his
me.
actual superpower. I mean, if you actually boil it down, his actual superpower is he can never lose. That's it. He has whatever.
It's like the anti-Thanos.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
My only weakness is I must not succeed.
Exactly. It's the exact opposite of Thanatos. His actual real superpower, because they don't just give him powers. How many powers have they given him?
Ice breath.
From him? X-ray vision, electricity. He had electricity powers for a while.
Ooh.
That was like in the 90s. He had this horrible costume and like a fucking mullet. But anyway, yeah, he had like electricity powers for a while. I mean, they've literally given him and taken away powers that most superheroes haven't even gotten close to. But his real thing is he can't lose.
See, I think the appeal for Superman for me, I got into it back in the early aughts with the Superman the animated series. And I liked it because the epicness of the villains that Superman usually goes up against. I mean, Lex Luthor's pretty lame, I'll admit, but like
Doomsday's a badass.
Gray Hulk.
Dude, damn right, Gray Rock Hulk from space. That's gonna burn and rape your family.
Darkseid and Lex Luthor is a really cool villain, and Darkseid is a really cool villain.
I like Brainiac.
Doomsday is literally just the fucking Hulk.
Dude, I think you're a hater. That's all I think.
You
say he's an evil Hulk, and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with an evil Hulk? That sounds awesome. I'd pay ticket price.
Okay, true. Evil Hulk. If you're gonna rip off, a hero, Hulk's not a bad one. Wrong.
Hero.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch Man of Steel?
I have not seen it yet. I don't really like Superman at all.
What he said.
It's pretty cool.
Isn't Man of Steel basically just a remake of Superman 2, though?
I've never seen the old ones, actually, to tell you the truth.
Because it has Zod in it, right?
Yeah, it's Zod. I think a lot of people compare him.
I mean, unless he just comes back to Earth or something. I mean, I saw Superman 2.
Well, it's a reboot.
Oh, so it's... Okay.
It's pretty good. My problem is sometimes the action sequences can drag on a little bit, and sometimes they're a little bit overly epic.
Overly epic.
Yeah, because it's just like
Michael Bay.
Well, it's like Superman punches a guy, and he goes through like a house, and then like a fucking butcher, and then through like a glass wall, and then he goes through like a highway, and then like flies across the city and skids for like 2 fucking miles. Like no joke. And like every punch in that movie is like that.
So it's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's just like Dragon Ball Z, dude.
Oh, my power level! Kryptonite! Like,
What 9,000?
oh
Then
man.
again, I mean, then again, as far as DC is concerned, the most powerful superhero, other than Superman, because he literally cannot lose, is Batman. Because his superpower is everything.
His superpower is being rich and a badass.
Anybody who
smart.
says Batman does not have a superpower is just delusional.
His superpower is money.
His superpower is whatever it fucking needs to be because
Super
he can buy it.
charisma.
It's a super bank account that can literally buy things that don't even exist. That's how. He has so much money, he can buy things that don't even exist yet.
Well,
Because he will
Wayne
create
Enterprises
things.
makes that shit.
Exactly. He will make it exist. Do you need a kryptonite spray because Superman might go berserk?
Batman
Dun,
versus
dun,
There
Tony
we
Stark.
go. Done.
That's what I want to see. Batman
That-
versus Tony Stark.
Dude,
That
I
would
know.
be kind of
Okay, I always
interesting.
get so mad when people are like, Batman versus Superman, who would win? Batman versus Superman. It's like, fuck that. Batman, Iron Man, best fight ever, period.
That
It
would be
amazing.
pretty good. That would
Oh
actually
my-
be funny.
God, it would be so good.
That'd be as good as Animal Man versus Swamp Thing.
Oh, don't even. Winking and dripping, as the horse breeders would say. Like, that. Oh, man. Especially the new 52s. Oh, writing's so good, so gorgeous. I can't even handle it.
Scott Snyder's on
Nerds.
that one too, actually. The same writer for Batman wrote the majority of Swamp Thing.
Nerd alert, talking about comic books.
Hey guys, we're talking about comic books, guys.
So there's been some debacle about the Xbox One release
Oh.
today.
The rumor.
The rumor. Well,
The rumor.
there's a rumor and what appears to be confirmed. They're now letting indie devs publish, which does
Oh.
appear to be confirmed by
That
some
one
indie
is.
devs on Twitter.
Mhm.
Yes, that one is confirmed. The rumor. Let's go and start with the rumor. Is that Microsoft sometime after the Xbox One launch will launch a Kinect-less version of the Xbox One. That has been directly debunked by Microsoft themselves, saying no, that will not happen. They are so tied to the Kinect. They're like umbilically tied to that thing. They are not getting rid of it.
Yeah, it's part of the architecture of the console.
It is, and it's for a reason. I'm pretty sure we've been over why the reason is.
Can you turn on a
Oh.
Wii without the motion sensor bar?
Yeah.
You can
I've never
turn
tried.
it on, but you can't control
No,
it.
you need you can control the menu and you can turn it on. The only thing you can't do is physically select a program.
I didn't know you could control the menu because I've tried using the
Mhm.
D-pad on the
Plus
menu.
and
and
minus,
it didn't
plus
let
and minus rotate the menu pages.
me. Oh.
I know because I have a sensor bar that hates me.
Oh,
Like,
but
it's
you
got a
can't
vendetta.
actually. So you can move some stuff around, but you can't actually
What if you have one of
do
these?
anything.
You probably could. I imagine you probably could. I've never
'Cause-
personally tried.
'Cause you
Jay,
could- Huh.
I give you a task for science. Test it out sometime and tell us.
I could probably test it out right now as we're talking, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'll be for another show. And then the other rumor, which did get confirmed, that you mentioned, it was the indie dev thing. You want to talk about that?
I mean, that's pretty big, especially considering the flack they've been getting about the new Oddworld. Which, I mean, that's like Microsoft hated its finest, let's be honest here.
Well, I mean, I can also see for kind of a reason why they weren't too keen, because they do have the indie section on Xbox Live. Not saying like the games like Super Meat Boy, which are like the super big indie games, but just like the actual indie games, like what is it? There's like an old 8-bit like zombie game and stuff on there, and like most of them aren't
Cthulhu
very
saves
good.
the world.
I mean, but I still think it's good that they let the people put it up on Xbox Live. But
I like the fact that they're really giving a lot more leeway to indie devs. I do like that. I don't like the fact that it will be integrated into the normal marketplace. I mean, everything is going to be in the same marketplace. So
So XBLA is going to be mixed in with the indie.
everything, because there's no more XBLA anymore. It's just XBL. Every major game release, every Xbox arcade only game, every indie game will appear in the same list.
So the only determination now is just going to be price, no longer.
Pretty much. I really hope that they have like some sort of peer review system, and you can rate by reviews, or maybe filter by price, or basically add in filters so you can kind of filter out all this. Because I mean, I really don't want to see massive fart simulator right next to Mass Effect.
Well, okay, hold on. You haven't heard the sound design in Massive Fart Simulator.
Second to none.
How many extreme baby makers do we need?
More obviously.
I mean, I'll be honest. Whenever I used to play Rock Band a lot, I kind of got annoyed that all of the you go to like the new DLC section, it was like 20 things of Rock Band, and then like a Halo map pack and a Call of Duty map pack, and then maybe something I actually
I'm glad
gave a shit
they
about.
fixed that. Back in the day, that was Xbox Live has come a long way.
It was, but I really am concerned that might happen again. You're inundated with a whole bunch. It's the signal to noise ratio will get worse. I hope there's some sort of filter system and some sort of like rating system, so like the really good indie games will start becoming more visible by merit of being really good, and then the major the major companies that develop shit can shovel their crap out there and get it in front of everybody's faces.
Yeah, I just launched this turd.
Whoever can give Microsoft the most dinero.
Yeah, just squeeze that turd right out, but as long as it's caked in money.
Yep. That's the language Microsoft speaks, the language of change. Not like progressive change, like ching coins sense, like.
To be fair, Microsoft is showing that they're actually listening to the community. Sony hasn't.
Begrudgingly. Well, what is the Sony fan base said? They said good job.
They said a good job. That's because they were so busy hating on Microsoft. Anything that wasn't Microsoft looked like a golden god.
That's definitely partially true. Microsoft did a rather legendary version of shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh yeah, they really fucked themselves over. But I mean, people are not giving them any credit. They're actually showing that they're listening.
Yeah,
people
but
like,
that's also
anyway.
Well, that's because the entire time the way that they've been making it sound too is it's like Microsoft support being like grumble, yeah, it's region free, grumble, like.
I haven't actually really noticed them being grumbly about it. It seems like they're it's like they're the really unpopular kid at school that's trying so hard to be popular. That strikes me. That they just want people to like them. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting from what Microsoft's doing. They just want people to like them. They just want friends. They want to go to the prom.
Cut the Connect and they have my money.
Yeah, they won't know.
Yep.
That's the one thing they have been quite steadfast about. That thing is there to stay.
Well, in the infamous words of Pluto, they can blow me. So, I'll just keep my money.
We'll see. We'll see how everything comes out once the systems actually roll out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there's so much cross-compatibility these days. I honestly think the biggest factor of what console you're going to buy, even with Microsoft's little debacle and the PS4 riding high right now, I think really the main thing that's going to sell consoles is what do your friends buy.
Yeah,
I was going to say exclusives, but
exclusives, because
those pretty much go hand in hand too.
Exclusives are going to probably sell the console at first, but then a little bit past launch day and past
after all your friends
launch
have PS4s, you just have to get one.
You're going to get one because you just want to play with your friends, basically. So I really think that's going to be one of the major things.
That's why I went 360 is because everybody I knew had one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair. Me too. So
I did have a bit of a preference for their controller though.
I never really liked the Xbox controller. I'm not a fan. I like the thumbsticks next to each other.
I don't really like the PS3 controller, the PlayStation controller, so I guess agree to disagree.
Yeah, apples and oranges, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I like the
N64
controller.
It's not bad, but
I think we can all agree at least it wasn't the N64 controller.
Oh god, that thing.
Whatever the fuck that was.
How could they have done it so right with the SNES? And that controller was perfect for what it needed to do. And then went to the N64. How the fuck did they do that?
I just don't I literally don't understand the. Okay, well, yeah, it's got 3 grips. Like,
most people don't have 3 hands.
Yeah, like I want to see that marketing. Yeah, you can hold it like this or like this, but not all of them at the same time. We don't cater the mutants here. Like,
that did make a fun thing whenever you used to play the old N64 Smash Bros. Your taunt was on the L button, so whenever you taunt, you could just let go of the controller and just smash the other side. Slap your controller. It's fun to do. You just like smack your friend off the edge, bam, give a taunt. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we talked about everything we planned on talking about. I think this is a good place to wrap up Zock Gaming Podcast Episode 6.
Woo!
As always, you can reach us at the Zock Gaming Podcast at gmail.com.
Oh my God, he got it right.
Is that it? Is that it? I need to keep track.
You know, I keep saying the before it, but there is no the, actually. It is just Zock Gaming Podcast, not the Zock Gaming.
Always, you can ignore what Jay is saying and simply look below in the description.
Yeah,
where we will have a link.
Check out the description, because that's a much better idea than listening to anything.
You can just click on it and then type, instead of trying to decipher his horrible caveman gibberish.
Email at said question and dick pics. Like
at mammothmeat at tyranno.com.
No, I just mammoth meat.
Rambo at mammothmeat.com.
Oh man.
Right on, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Expect another podcast next week, hopefully. Joining me, as always, has been Josh of Missouri.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
And Donovan from No Clip Gaming.
You guys be safe in internet land.